this 2021. I don't know about you guys, but I am seriously juggling lots and lots of balls at the moment. Those balls of creation and developing and coming up with new products and new things to deliver out to market, combined with obviously talking to clients and making new sales, and then delivering to clients. And it's been one of those weeks where all of it has come together. I had a truly awesome day yesterday. I spent a whole day. It was our full day of Mastermind with my inner circle community, and just there's nothing better, is there? As much as we've got used to Zoom and used to connecting with people online, there is nothing better than being in a room with smart people, of being able to actually percolate, to get perspective, to debate, to ideate, to innovate together. And it was just awesome being in that room of smart people to help them work on their business, to get the next stage plans in place for them to really achieve some of the awesome goals that are being created this year. And you know what's really awesome about that room? Just the different businesses. We have got weapons engineers, we have got creatives and marketeers, recruiters, trainers, people that are experts in the health and well-being space. It's just truly incredible when you get these different brains working on particular business problems. So anyway, that was my day yesterday, and so I woke up this morning buzzing because it just fuels you up, it gets you excited. So how's your week been? How's your week been? Have you had a good one? Did you kick those goals this week that you set out to do? Where can you celebrate this week? What are some of the things where you've gone, God, I won this week. I did that this week. I managed to do that this week. And what did you learn from the week? I think it's really important to actually sometimes take a step back and look at what you've learned. So if you are listening to this on YouTube, and you're liking what you hear by the end of it, then I'd love you to subscribe. It would be great to see you here more often. Also click on that bell, because we are each week adding more and more content into that YouTube channel, really because I want to give you as much information as possible. I want to make sure that everything I have learned, everything that I teach is available to you to support you in your business goals, in terms of trying to connect with those right people, build those right partnerships to help you scale your business. So make sure to subscribe. And if you're wanting to actually really connect with some fellow entrepreneurs and business owners, if you're wanting to engage in content, meet some awesome people from my world, then jump on over to Facebook. Over there, I've got a group called Networking Skills for Entrepreneurs. And we are active in that group in terms of trying to build these connections for you so that you are able to feel supported, tap into that intelligence bank, get that support in terms of achieving whatever's next in your business. It would be great to see you over there. Give yourself a shout out, say hi, and I look forward to connecting with you there. All right, so what are we going to talk about this week? Well, this week I did run a free webinar, and it was awesome. And if any of you that were on that webinar are watching this, hi to you. It was a fabulous group of people from all over the world. We had India, America, Canada, New Zealand, Australia, England. We had loads of people on that webinar. And on that webinar, I was talking about how to build this $1 million network and sharing some of the teaching around where do you start, essentially, who are the key people, the essential people, almost the most important do not pass go people that you need to have in your network. And then finally, I was sharing some thoughts around how do you get remembered, because the biggest challenge we've got in this hugely busy world is becoming invisible. So the last thing I shared was about how to be remembered. I'm actually doing an encore of that webinar next week. I think it's Thursday morning. So if you want some details of that, just message me, send me a message, janine@janinegarner.com.au, and I can send you details. But there are a couple of questions that came back from a couple of people at the webinar and it was around this. Occasionally you've talked about game plan. What exactly do you mean when you talk about game plan? Here's the thing, right? Networking the right way actually starts and ends with you. So networking the right way actually starts with you. And this is where most people go wrong, because if you want to build the right network with the right people in it, where there is this mutual value exchange, where you're working together, connecting and collaborating to ensure that you both achieve the results that you want to, then the answer to getting started on that journey isn't about, oh, I think I'll join a networking group. Oh, I think I'll go to that networking event. Oh, I think I must connect with hundreds and thousands of people on LinkedIn. I must do here, I must do that. That's not where it starts. In fact, that is where we go wrong. There is a step way before you actually start taking action. And I actually think all that action that we're taking is part of the problem. And getting clear on why you need to network, being intentional about this, is actually the starting point. And what it does is it gives you clarity, it gives you a focus, and it absolutely ensures that you are intentional about the quality of the people that you are meeting and networking with versus the quantity of people that you're coming across, that you're having superficial conversations with, that you're really not sure whether it's worth it, and ultimately you walk away and go, God, I can't be bothered with any of this. So that's what I want to talk about, because it came up with a couple of people. So again, here is what I see happening. Here's what I see as some of the biggest challenges when I start talking to people about building a network. I see too many people flitting, jumping around from one event to the other. And this flitting, this jumping around from one event to the other creates a diary that's filled with things that you have to go to. And more often than not, over a period of time, it fuels the exhaustion, it fuels the busyness, and it fuels the questioning as to whether or not you're doing the right thing. We join lots and lots of networking groups. We join these networking communities for X, networking communities for Y, networking communities for Z. More often than not, they're membership-based networking groups. I know because I ran one. I actually built one from the ground up and ended up selling it in 2019. And people are constantly exploring these groups to join because they want to meet people. They've got in their head, I really have to network. And the solution is, let me join that group, that group, that group, and that group. And just the sheer quantity of opportunity sometimes can be overwhelming. And the final thing is, what all that results in is this huge amount of confusion. This confusion about, am I doing the right thing? What sort of conversation should I have? How do I follow up? What should I say about myself? Am I being interesting? Is this person being truthful about a collaboration opportunity? Is this just a wasted conversation? And this confusion, it fuels even more overwhelm. And so what we've got to do is, in my mind, and what I teach, it's about absolutely replacing this flitting around, jumping from one thing to another with total focus. So you can focus your energy, you can focus your time, you can focus your commitment, and you can focus where you say yes and where you say no. So it's all about focus. The second thing I teach is it's absolutely not about quantity. Because here's the thing, if it was only about quantity, if it was only about how many people you know, if it was only about how big your database was, if it was only about how many people you knew on LinkedIn or on Facebook or on Twitter or on Instagram or whatever it is, if that is all networking was about to be successful, then every single one of us would be successful. because all of us have that at our fingertips. But as we know, it's not working. It's not working. That's why so many people speak to me. They go, Janine, okay, how do I build this network? How do I get started here? How do I improve my networking confidence? How do I find a high quality network? And how on earth do I actually manage these new connections? How do I effortlessly connect and network so that I enjoy it and I love it and it's filling me up versus draining me and actually being the thing I try and avoid? So for me, it's about replacing this thinking around quantity with an absolute focus on quality. That whole thing, less is more, less is more, less is more. And you know what? Every single successful person that I know, have interviewed, have read about, have listened to, when you ask them about what is the special magic source to their success, they will all say it's the quality of the people around me. So we've got to do that. It's about replacing this confusion with absolute clarity. A clarity that fuels not only where you place your attention, but also a clarity which helps you be intentional about the decisions you're making, the things you're saying yes to, and the conversation you're having. And the thing that fuels all of that is what I call the game plan. What I call the game plan. Here's the thing, right? How can you possibly find the right people to help you if you've actually got no idea on what help you need, where the gaps in your market, in your network are, an understanding of how you're bringing strengths, an understanding of the weaknesses in the people around you and therefore what you need to feel? How can you possibly have the right conversations with the right people and ask for the right help if you haven't got a clue on what on earth it is that you want? This lack of clarity around your game plan fuels the superficial conversations. This lack of clarity fuels the flitting around from one thing to the other. This lack of clarity fuels just the constant acquisition of contacts versus that ability to get really focused, to have quality, deep conversations that are actually adding value to both parties, to where there's a value exchange, and that absolutely add clarity around the intentionality of every action you take. So that's what I'm talking about. And it's pretty simple, really. It's about taking ownership and understanding that before you even start networking, before you even say yes to joining another group, before you even go along to an event, you've actually got to get clear on you. Networking starts with you. So here's my question, right? If I were to say to you, so where are we at now? I'm recording this in February. If I were to say to you, by the end of this year, so in the next 10 months, what do you want to achieve? If you were to write down on the piece of paper, if you grab a piece of paper and stick it in front of you, and if we call this your game plan, and you put on your piece of paper by the end, and I would suggest you could do 6 months, time, you could do 12 months for the purposes of today. Let's say by the end of December 2021. My question to you is, what do you want to achieve? What are your goals? What are the projects that matter? What are the critical things that you know, if you make them happen, it's going to get you one step closer to where you want to be? It's going to make this year count. It's going to create that shift. It's going to move you from this place where you are at now to this new frontier of brilliance. What are the critical projects the critical goals that you've got to do. Now, the biggest mistake people make here, in my experience, is that they only think about business goals. I want to grow my business by 20%. I want to increase my cost base by 25%. I want to grow my clients by 50%. I want to expand my market. I want to build my side hustle to X so that I can leave my primary job. I want a promotion. You know, we think about it very one-dimensionally in terms of business goals. And I get that. You know, I'm all about helping entrepreneurs and business owners scale their business to achieve whatever goals they want. And most of the time, I work with business owners and entrepreneurs that want the financial freedom. So totally get that. But you are so much more than your business. You are so much more. And when we can get all of these parameters right, that's when we create this shift and we get closer to our frontier of brilliance. So here's what I want you to think about. If we're here now, whenever you're listening to this, and at the end of 2021, we have a new frontier of brilliance. What are the critical things that you want to do? If we were to split this into 4 key areas, my question to you in developing your game plan is absolutely, what do you want to achieve in terms of your business and your career? Now, there's a reason I'm putting it on 1 page. This isn't about writing your 50-page business plan. What I'm asking you to do is really focus. Like, what are the critical 3 things? 3, 4 max. What are the 3 to 4 critical things, the projects that matter, that are important for you to deliver on between now and the end of 2021? What are those? Get really, really, really clear. Then go, what about financially? What are the financial goals? Again, up to 4 things. You know, are you wanting to pay down debt? Is it about investing in property or shares? Is it about saving money? Is it about getting a pay rise? Like, what are the critical things that you want to achieve financially? So the above the line is what most of us do. But when I work with my clients, I get them to actually go to 1 stage further. And I go, okay, what about relationships? What about relationships? What about those important people in your world? It could be in your family. It could be husbands, wives, partners, significant others, kids. It could be your team. It could be really important clients. But when it comes to relationships, what are the critical things that you want to work on for the period of time of this business plan that are really important, that are going to shift you towards that frontier of brilliance? So for me, to bring you into my 2021 plan, in this box, this is where I've absolutely got date night with husband. It's about family holidays and being really clear on when we do that. It's about being very intentional about locking in every month dinner with my very special girlfriends, or some sort of experience and fun times with my really special girlfriends. And I'm that specific about being intentional about these connection points with the important people in my world. Some years this could be rebuilding relationships with. It could be making phone calls with really great friends that you used to have, and for years and years you've gone, I really should, and 3 years goes by and you've still not connected. Maybe this year this is one of those things you put in there of reconnecting with family members or friends or whatever it is. This relationship box is really important because this is the stuff that actually feeds our soul. This is the stuff that keeps us going, right? And this is the stuff that we forget. The final box is the one on self. I call this the bucket list stuff. What is the 1, 2, 3 things. I want you to be selfish. I want you to just think about yourself. I want you to think about the human being that you are. And if you get to the end of this year, what are the bucket list things, the 1 or 2 or 3 things that you're going to commit to for yourself that are going to shift you one step further? It could be a hobby that you want to learn. It could be a book that you want to write. It could be running a marathon. It could be getting disciplined about meditation. It could be moving to a plant-based diet. It could be learning to skateboard. That's one of mine, by the way. I've got a significant birthday this year. I actually turned 50 this year, and I've got this bucket list of things that I want to tick off for this year. One of which, crazily, is learning to skateboard. I've got this vision in my head of being able to skateboard along Manly Corso here in Sydney, which is where I live. Hoping that in my head, I'm looking really cool, right? In my head, I am looking like the coolest 50-year-old on this skateboard. The reality will probably be that I've got the biggest helmet on, I'm padded all over the place, and I'm actually probably wobbling down Sydney Corso. And my dream of my kids thinking I'm a really cool mum is probably going to be, oh, Mum, seriously, are you doing this? But anyway, that's beside the point. The point is, it is one of my goals. The other one I've got on here is learning to dance, and that's something that we've already locked in. So building your game plan is about getting clear on what it is that you want to do in your business or in your career, with your finances, with those important relationships that matter, and for yourself. And this is where it absolutely starts with you being intentional about what you're actually going to do with your time over the course of this year, the next 90 days, the next 6 months, whatever it is that works for you. Now, here's how this works why it's so important when it comes to networking to have this. Because the next question I have for you is, okay, looking at that game plan, who's going to help you? You take a moment to look at that game plan in front of you. Who's going to help you? Who are the people that are going to support you in achieving all of that stuff? Who are the people that are going to add value to your thinking, that are going to push you further than you ever thought was possible, that are going to support you as you're working towards those goals, that are going to hold you accountable, the people that are going to fuel your belief, that are going to keep you on track, that are going to push you to achieve more? Who are those people? Because what I see is we do our version of a business plan. We might do our vision board. We might do our big word for the year. We might in January and December say how we're going to change things. But that piece of paper usually ends up lost, forgotten, in the bottom of a drawer, turning a funny shade because it's pinned on the wall. You've got to do something with this intention. And you've got to think about looking at that game plan. Who do I know already that can help me with this stuff? And where are the big gaps? So for example, let me give you an example. Let's imagine, let's take me, skateboarding, right? It's on my plan. I can't do that. I could do it on my own, but the reality is I need help doing it. So part of thinking about networking, and my network right now, is who's going to help me do that? And I reach out to them. If I think about my business and I think about, the year I wanted to scale and extend my business into that international market, I actually had to seek out an individual that had already done that so that I could learn from them. Being clear on your game plan also allows you to have really awesome conversations. It gives you clarity around asking for help. It gives you focus around reaching out and sourcing and finding the right people to bring into your world. It gives structure to the conversation. It adds so much more intentionality, and you will absolutely see that the step change happens. So here's what I want you to think about. I want you to think about what is your game plan up to the end of this year, if you're watching this in the year 2021. What do you want to achieve this year? What do you want to achieve right now? What are the critical stepping stones that you want to make from a business and a career perspective, from a financial perspective, in terms of those important relationships, in terms of for yourself to ensure that you are moving from where you are today towards this new frontier of brilliance? What are those things? Get clear. As I said, 3, 4, definitely no more than 5 in each of those quadrants. Get curious then about the help and support that you need. You know, where are the gaps? Who do I already have? Awesome. If you've got them, share your game plan with them. Show them how they can help you. Ask them for how they can help you achieve this stuff. And equally get curious about the gaps. Get curious about the gaps. Another example, you know, I've shared before, I've written 3 best-selling books. Those books don't happen with me just sitting there on my own. I have to get someone in my network, my incredible editor, Kelly Irvin, bring her into my network to work with me on achieving that goal. This is the difference between attention, going, I need to network better, and the intention of networking in the right way to build the right strategic partnerships to allow you to grow forward and build your business. So what help and support do you need? Who do you already know that you can share your plans with? And where are the gaps? And then, you know what my next question is going to be? Thinking about those gaps, where are those people? Where are those people right now? That's your clue as to the decisions you make, as to the networking groups you join, the events that you say yes to, the people that you connect with across social platforms, and how you nurture and develop those relationships moving forward. So it all starts with you getting clear on your game plan. Networking starts with you getting clear on your game plan so that you can be much more intentional about building quality relationships, much more focused on the connections that you have, and absolute clarity around the conversations, how you build those relationships, what you say yes to, what you say no to, and the action that you subsequently take. If you found that useful, make sure to subscribe. By the way, next week, next Friday, I have got the author and very good friend of mine, Dr. Amy Silver, joining me. She's written, this is her latest book, The Loudest Guest, and she talks about how to change and control your relationship with fear. And here's why this is important too, because that gap, those gaps that I talk about and the challenge that I set you to go out and find those people, for many of you, the question will be, oh my God, how do I find them? How do I connect with them? And then this inner fear takes over about reaching out. This is why I love my friend Dr. Amy Silver's work. It's why I'm bringing her to you. We'll be talking about this book. And if you've got any questions you'd like me to ask her, just drop me a line in the comments and I'll make sure to ask her that next week. Have a great weekend. Thanks for your time and I will see you next week.